And coming up in the next 60 minutes, NDC Communications Officer drags Attorney General and IGP to High Court over attempts to investigate him for an alleged cybercrime offense reported by the Jubilee House.
But we suspect, we know that because the president is coming here today, they don't want us to be here. So we have also agreed graciously that we will meet them tomorrow.
We'll bring you details on Sammy Jemfi's invitation to the police CID headquarters today. Also this evening, coalition of aggrieved customers of Mengs Gold set a weekend deadline in demand of all their locked-up investments with a troubled gold dealership firm.
Will those Ghanaian gifts include a goat, sheep?
Mengs Gold should meet customers' leadership and disclose the total number of validated customers and the cash at hand, and pay all customers on 27th December.
We have details shortly. We'll also take you to the northern regional town of Yendi, where poor roads force health workers at Osiado to abandon post.
How much more when the water is overflowed? Who come? They not come. So if a woman wants to deliver, no nurse. So we have to suffer.
And in business, MD of International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, says Africa is a continent of opportunities. We'll hear from her on why investors should look our way at the time Ghana plans to raise $3 billion to support the 2020 budget.
And as we build up to the start of the Ghana Premier League, Sports Minister Isaac Isiama insists the love for football is coming back. That's coming up later in sports.
And then later on the flip side, should judges accept goats?
Will those Ghanaian gifts include a goat, sheep?
Mr. Chairman, I know honorable member very well. If he gives me a goat, I will take it.
Send me your answers on WhatsApp 0244340437 or here on News Night. Well, tonight, the National Democratic Congress Communications Officer is fighting off attempts by the police to investigate him on allegations of cybercrime leveled against him by the Jubilee House. Lawyers for Sammy Jemfi have filed an application of to place an injunction to stop the High Court in Accra, get a High Court to stop him being invited by the police, restraining the Attorney General and the IGP from inviting him and the clients over to also taking possession of his electronic devices for investigations. Well, earlier today, a meeting between the Cybercrime Unit of the Criminal Investigations Department and the National Communications Officer of the NDC was rescheduled. The CID on the 19th of December invited Sammy Jemfi over complaints made by the Jubilee House of an alleged cybercrime offense. But addressing the media, lawyer for Sammy Jemfi, Victor Adawudu, said his client will return to the police headquarters tomorrow. Nancy Emefa-Jadosi was there and filed this report.
Supporters massed up in front of the police headquarters Monday morning. Some of them held placards with inscriptions such as "Ghana is sitting on a time bomb," and "Do your worst, NDC is coming back to power," and mischanting. Around 10:35 a.m., some members of the NDC legal team and lawyer Victor Adawudu walked out of the premises of the police headquarters. Mr. Adawudu announced the meeting had been rescheduled.
We have responded to the invitation of Sammy Jemfi. We've come to see the top echelon of the CID, and they have rescheduled the meeting to tomorrow at 11. They said because of some few circumstances, they will not be able to have the meeting. But we suspect, we know, that because the president is coming here today, they don't want us to be here. So we have also agreed graciously that we will meet them tomorrow.
A few minutes later, the communications officer and the man being invited of allegations of cybercrime, Sammy Jemfi, arrived. He told the supporters he was willing to honor every invitation by the police.
A police for to almost have frame say me boa omo hwehwe mu ho. Ye jemradi, ye shemrase, enti yabase ye beboa omo. So almost o ma ye busy ye betwen omo ye free a na yakọ na emwa omo pa free ha no ye de ama omo.
Also present was the women's organizer of the NDC, Hannah Bisu, who described the president as intolerant and vindictive as she accused him of engaging in political witch hunting against the NDC.
The president is an oppressor. What is Metina to Ghana is the only thing that he's delivering so well. He has to oppress, prosecute, if not to persecute his political opponent. That's exactly what it is. There's no 1, 2, 3 way about it. That is it. President Nana Addo is very vindictive. He's intolerant. He cannot tolerate different ideas, different opinions. He can't. He doesn't tolerate multi-party democracy, the very democracy that brought him to the seat of government. He came with a ballot in one hand and then with a gun in another, because he's not leading, he's ruling. We are not opponents. Now we are political enemies, because you are treating us as enemies, and the same way you give to us in diplomacy, we shall also give it back to you.
Sammy James is expected to appear at the police CID headquarters on Tuesday morning.
I've just been joined in the studio by my colleague Malik Dabu, who has a copy of this counter rate filed by Sammy Jemfi and his lawyers seeking to stop the police from inviting him. Malik, what's the background to this?
Well, Evans, we know that there's this statement which was making the rounds on social media. Sammy Jemfi we are being told, accused of the person who generated that statement which is making rounds on social media, a statement which is contended to be fake. Now, on the back of that, the police went to the Kaneshie District Court with an ex parte motion and obtained orders from the court to seize Sammy Jemfi's phone to try and check the veracity of the claim that he is the person who produced or manufactured this false statement which was making rounds on social media.
What's the statement? Do we know?
Well, this statement is alleged to have been written by the executive secretary to the president, Nana Santibidi Etuo, making an address to the chief of staff, making some claims. Okay. And they say the statement is false and that he was the one who generated it. So they went with this ex parte motion, and you would know that ex parte motion is just without the other party. So the police alone went to court and got an order to seize the phone, and also an order for his Facebook account details to be given to the police for purposes of investigating this alleged manufacture or fabrication of this statement. Now, his case in court is that he's saying that he got a call from the head of the cyber crimes unit of the criminal investigation department of the Ghana Police Service, ACP Herbert Yangson, and he was told that a complaint was made by the Jubilee House. He says no officer was named as the person making the complaint from this Jubilee House. So there was no identifiable person.
Okay, well, now we know it's Nana Santibidi Etuo himself who filed this complaint, who is executive secretary to the president.
Good. So he says that he, as a citizen, under Article 18(2) of the Constitution, is entitled to a right not to have his communication interfered with. And that under that circumstance, the police could not go to a district court on an ex parte motion asking to be given the right to seize his phone. He says that phone is personal to him. Any attempt to look into the contents of that phone without telling him what exactly they are looking for. He says they want to seize the phone and fish for information. He believes that that is in violation of his constitutional right. He ought to be given notice that this application was being made to the district court and given an opportunity to argue his case. He must be told what he is being accused of, the particulars of that accusation, and then offered the opportunity to defend himself. He believes that the charges are trumped up and that they are in violation of his fundamental right to not have his communication interfered with. So he wants the High Court to quash these orders that were given by the district court that his Facebook account details should be taken and that his phone should be taken as well, because he believes that the court didn't have jurisdiction to give those orders in the first place and that they were obtained on his blind side, which was not right.
Okay. We don't know if he's secured this injunction.
He's asking for an interlocutory injunction until the determination of the main issues contained in his writ before the High Court.
Okay. Let me bring him in now. Mr. Sammy James, the Communications Officer of the NDC, thankfully joins us on the telephone line right now. Thank you, Mr. James, for your time here on Newsnight. So, presumably you filed this today. The court hasn't had this injunction application yet, has it?
No, the injunction has not been heard. I think it's been scheduled for the 8th of February, if I am correct. But I'm informed by counsel that the processes, specifically the application for the enforcement of my fundamental human rights and the application for interlocutory injunction, have been duly served on the IGP and the Attorney General and Minister of Justice.
Okay, so you expect them to hold off until the case is heard?
I mean, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice is a lawyer. The Ghana Police Service is a law enforcement agency. They have a legal department. I'm sure they have an appreciation and understanding of what these processes mean. And so I will not pretend to be in the position to offer any advice to them. But as a citizen, I believe that my fundamental human right to privacy is under threat. I believe that the grounds which grounded the purported search warrant granted by the Kaneshie District Court, are not justifiable in law, for which reason I have filed these processes not just for myself, but to challenge this dangerous precedent which is being set. And so my expectation is that they will not undermine the administration of justice. They will not prejudice the processes which are being filed. But as law-abiding citizens and institutions, we will all abide the decision of the High Court on these matters so that we know how to, proceed from here.
You haven't been charged with anything, have you?
Specifically, I've not been charged of anything, but as has been indicated in the processes we filed today, we've intercepted records from the Kaneshie District Court, which show that 2 ex parte applications were made, one for an order directed at Facebook for the production of my Facebook records, second for a search warrant for the detention and examination of my phones. We understand that both ex parte applications were granted, and it is very clear in the ex parte applications that, according to the police, I'm being investigated for the offense of forgery of official documentation and the publication of false information to create fear and panic, pursuant to a complaint filed by the Jubilee House. And so, even though I have not been charged, my attention has been drawn to these charges, these allegations, which I am being investigated of. And under the law, it is within my right to take proactive steps to prevent any unconstitutional or illegal interference with my fundamental human rights. Because, you see, even this is not about me as an individual. It is about our constitutional jurisprudence. It is about the protection of fundamental human rights. A mere complaint, I don't think, but a mere complaint can ground, an order for the privacy of a citizen of Ghana to be interfered with. But that is for the courts to decide, and that is why we have filed these processes to test, what we consider as an abuse of the powers of the Ghana Police Service. Today, we did what was expected of us as lawful citizens. We honored the invitation of the police to show them respect, cooperate with them, and if possible, offer any assistance that we could offer. Even as late as 10 a.m., they gave us clear indication that they were ready to meet with us. 5 minutes after, they changed their position, and all of a sudden became busy, to receive us. I indicated to them that I could wait till 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., or even 6 p.m. Till when they are done with their, activity, so that we could have the meeting. Unfortunately, they were not willing. They were not willing to meet with me, and so we had to leave. Now, clearly, in the face of these processes which have been filed, which includes an application for injunction, we are not allowed, in the circumstances, to honor any subsequent invitation and seek to participate in any process or interrogation which undermines the very processes we have found.
So just to be clear, you no longer cooperate with the police if they invite you?
The word cooperate is not the issue here. The issue is that the basis of the invitation is now sub judice before a court of competent jurisdiction, and any attempt to undermine the processes which have been filed before the court, for me, will amount to contempt of court.
If they invite you, would you go?
No, I will not. Tomorrow we will be writing to them to explain these things to them. Not because I think or I see myself as one who is above the law, but it is because of the fact that I see myself as under the law that I am unable to cooperate, because the matters are now before a court of competent jurisdiction.
And let me ask you finally, did you do the things you're accused of doing? Forging the document to make Nana Santi-Bide to look bad and cause public fear and panic?
I have never, in the 30 years of my life, engaged in the commission of any crime, not to talk of a second-degree felony or forgery and the other offenses, they are fabricating. What happened today was a clear waste of time. It underscores the intolerance, of the Akufo-Addo government. This is what you get when you have a government which is corrupt, confused, despotic, and prioritizes the intimidation and harassment of political opponents than the critical and genuine issues confronting the people of this country. And I believe that Ghanaians are discerning, they are watching. If the attempt is to intimidate some of us, silence us, cow us, into submission, then they are mistaken, because we will resist oppressors' rule and will continue to speak against the increasing levels of corruption, nepotism, profligacy, which is destroying our country under the leadership of President Akufo-Addo. So I have not done any of the things, they are fabricating, and as we speak, they have not adduced any scintilla of evidence to show that I have engaged in any such offense. But it is for the courts to decide, and we will submit ourselves to that process, accordingly, as law-abiding citizens.
I'm grateful, Sammy Jamefi, that you joined me, and we had reached out to the Jubilee House on the subject. We just got confirmation when we did that it is the Executive Secretary to the President who filed the complaint, and we've been in touch with his lawyer as well. Once we get the confirmation that we could get their side, I'll definitely talk to them and bring that side as well to this particular controversy. Now, let's stay with the NDC, because its Director of Elections, Elvis Ifriankra, is defending his hashtag Occupy the EC comments. According to him, his call was to rally Ghanaians to resist the EC's decision to compile a new voters register. In an audio that's since gone viral on social media, Mr. Ankra is heard saying, if we invest 200,000, 500,000, a million Ghana cedis and fight this register, bring Accra to a standstill for once, occupy the EC head office, we can do it. We have done it before. End of quote. Let's take a listen to what that audio indeed said.
Folks, see, I was in Nigeria as an ECOWAS observer. All Buhari did was to suppress votes in the strongholds of his opponents and then allow free flow in his strongholds. And they won, in spite of the fact that he was so unpopular. We shouldn't joke with this thing. And if we do the analysis properly, we're going to spend hundreds of millions of Ghana cedis or tens of millions of Ghana cedis to do the campaign. If we lose, God forbid, the election, all that money would have been gone, would have gone to waste. If we invest 200,000, 500,000, 1 million Ghana cedis and fight this register bring Accra to a standstill for once, occupy the EC head office, and we can do it. We have done it before. These are things we've been doing. Even as ordinary students, we brought Ministry of Finance to a standstill. We brought Ministry of Education to a standstill. We can do it. It is possible. Let's have confidence in ourselves. Please, let's stop the defeatist attitude. We can do it. We can move people and bring this country to a standstill just one day, and they will withdraw. They have withdrawn many other bills. People, we can give examples. So it's not impossible. Whether they pass it in Parliament or not, we must resist this thing. We can do it.
Well, responding to calls for the police to indict him over the comments you just heard, the Director of Elections said the posture of his critics reflect that of double standards and hypocrisy.
Yes, it is an audio that I did to my team of action directors when they heard Honorable Evans Mensah saying at the MPP conference that the NDC cannot win an election with a new biometric register. They were alarmed. They started raising issues from all across the country. So in responding to them, I was responding on several platforms, and then I did that audio to explain to them that one of the options we have to embark on a massive demonstration to show our protest to the impending new register.
There are those who are arguing that your call amount to civil disobedience.
As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing about civil disobedience.
Thankfully, he joins us on the line right now. Elvis Efriankra, thank you for your time here on Newsnight.
Thank you very much, Evans.
Bringing the country to a standstill, occupying the EC, certainly is against the Public Order Act.
Evans, when you put hundreds of thousands of people onto the streets, there will be traffic jams, there will be inconveniences, and Accra will come to a standstill. This is something that happens anytime we do a massive demonstration. So I'm really struggling to find what exactly the problem is. Because we've been...
You know, there's a law that regulates such gatherings. There was no reference to doing this legally in the sound we just played. He just said, let's occupy the EC's office and bring Accra to a shutdown. That clearly isn't what the law said. That law doesn't allow it. The law, of course, you have the right to demonstrate, but not do so illegally.
Evans, I know that sometimes media people ask questions not from themselves, so maybe this is one of those questions. But I don't think you really believe that in a 1.5 minutes audio we'll talk about all the details. Evidently, nobody can mobilize people and do a demonstration of this magnitude that I'm talking about in secret. We are going to do demonstrations. We hold public fora. In fact, we will come to Joy FM and ask for free adverts. We'll advertise it, we'll publicize it. From there, we'll go to the police headquarters. We'll sit down with them, we'll tell them the routes, we'll agree on it. We'll go on a demonstration, we'll ask them to accompany us. It has been happening in this country. Occupy Ghana, occupy Flagstaff House, occupy Let My Vote Count, whatever. So I'm struggling to find what the issue really is. That as for NDC people, they don't have a right to embark on a demonstration and mobilize people and protest, which is guaranteed under the Constitution. So please help me to understand where exactly the problem.
But you express an intention. Your intention is to bring the country to a standstill.
I said bring Accra.
No, you also mentioned bring Accra, but subsequently you also mentioned we can bring the country to a standstill as well.
Using Accra. And I'm saying when you embark on a demonstration, and you put 100,000 people onto the streets, will there not be traffic jams? Is that not a standstill?
Yeah, but
anytime there are demonstrations, even in front of the Flagstaff House, is that not a standstill? Does it not cause inconvenience?
Yeah, but why would you want to cause inconvenience to the citizens you yourself are seeking to govern?
You see, but it is citizens that are demonstrating, are they not?
No, but your intention is to cause inconvenience to other citizens.
Let me ask you, have you ever seen a demonstration where the people are hanging in the air before? The demonstration happens on the ground. In every demonstration, there is an inherent inconvenience. I am trying very hard to understand where this sudden, redefinition of what a demonstration is coming from. In every demonstration, there is an inherent inconvenience. That is why every security person, when tensions are rising and there are issues, they try to negotiate so that it will not happen. It's almost like a last resort. So citizens demonstrate. You have been in this country. You are a media person. You've covered many demonstrations.
I have, and you have organized many as a student leader, and subsequently, and
it has caused a lot of inconvenience.
I get what you're saying. However, but that is illegal. Blocking roads and causing inconvenience deliberately to other citizens. It's not what the law says you can do under the laws that allow you the right to demonstrate. Mr. Frianka. Hello, sir. I think we've lost him on the line. Let's try and reconnect with him. You're still listening to News Now here on Joy 99.7 FM. The Director of Elections of the National Democratic Congress speaking to us on the issues.
I am on the line.
You're on the line. Okay, yes, yeah. You have my question. That's not what the law asks you to do.
You see, Evans, you are trying very, very hard, albeit unsuccessfully, to create an illegality where there is no illegality. And on the point of being ridiculous, the point is that when you organize a demonstration, I've been SRC president, I've been NUC's coordinating secretary, I've been involved in demonstrations, CJA party and everything. Every single demonstration, that is why you have the police that follows you.
You're saying to me that it's okay to block roads. The
police that block the road. When hundreds of thousands of people are on the road, won't the road be blocked?
Okay, so you're clarifying. So these will be roads that you expect the police to block for you to allow you free passage. Not that your people you are mobilizing would by themselves take the law into their own hands to block roads.
Evans, when you have 100,000 people on the streets, inevitably the roads will be blocked anyway.
Yeah,
and the police will just guide.
Yeah, but
so
my point
whichever way you look at it, roads will be blocked.
Yes, but there's one legally done by the police and they have the right to do so, and there's one that is illegally done by people who simply wants to cause chaos.
I think it's getting ridiculous.
No, I mean you're saying, Mr. Frianka, that it is okay for people to just block roads without cause to the law.
No, I have not said that.
But that's my question to you.
I am saying that when you're going to have a demonstration, you go to the police, you tell them, you agree on the route, and then you embark on it, and the police are present. When you have 100,000 people on the road, from Circle to Farisco, the roads will be blocked. This is not. I don't know. This is a simple, basic. I don't even know the word to use. So I don't know why you are trying very hard not to understand deliberately.
I'm just asking questions for you to explain, because so you're saying that this is something you intend to do within the confines of the law.
Of course, but who will organize a demonstration in secret? How will you move the people out? So thank you. Once you've given me the platform, this is what we're going to do. When we fix the dates, we'll go to the police. Before that, we are going to do community engagements. We're going to go out. We're going to go to communities, nurses, teachers, doctors, drivers, unemployed bankers that have been sacked, all sections of the society. We're going to speak to them and tell them that this is wasteful expenditure, it is needless, and it is a threat to our democracy, and they should come out in their numbers. That is what we're going to do, and it's not going to be in secret. And we'll do it in conjunction with the police. That is what we have always done.
And
any more questions?
And so, when do you plan to start this process?
When we fix the date, we'll definitely let you know, and you'll be invited to come and cover.
Final question: since this was a recording to your team, surprised that it's been leaked the way it has been?
It's not a big deal. Some people are trying to make a big deal out of it. If I was when Osei Mensah said that NDC cannot win elections with a new register, our people started calling from all over the country. I'm on hundreds of platforms. So the responses were coming, the messages were coming left, right, center. So I was responding, and I realized at the time I couldn't keep up. So I decided to do the audio and share it on a number of platforms. Naturally, when people get an audio of this nature, somebody will share, somebody will share. In any case, I'm not naive not to know that some of these platforms or even our gadgets are monitored. Come on, we've been in this game for a long time, so really, it's not a big deal. The important thing is that I have not said anything illegal. I'm not planning anything illegal, no matter how hard and desperate people try to make it look. There's nothing there.
So you have no concern that one of your own leaked this?
Yeah, I don't see it as a leak.
Okay.
I see it as sharing, and when people share, it will get into the wrong hands. Even when we are talking, they are listening anyway. I don't know what they want to hear.
I'm grateful, Mr. Friankra, for joining me with your comments and thoughts on that leaked audio there. He says he doesn't consider it as a leak. What do you make of what you just heard there from Elvis Friankra? I want to share a few of your messages on the stories we've been examining here for you, and this one that just came in on Mr. Friankra. Solomon from East Legon says, "Hello Evans, my message is simple. Please tell Mr. Friankra his community engagements will end in tears. It is as simple as that." Also, this one says, "Is a Jubilee House a human being? How can the Jubilee House file a complaint accusing Sammy Gyamfi of forgery? This act of intimidation must stop." Kofi sent us that one. Kusi says, "Sammy Gyamfi, the greatest groomed NDC propagandist, wants to make himself a hero out of outrageous fabrications." Kofi Mensah in Osu says, "It's the nominee." This is the Chief Justice nominee saying that we are Ghanaians, and that's a different set of rules should be applied when it comes to corruption. Cry the beloved country. A few of your messages there on our WhatsApp console. Still ahead here on Newsnight. Should judges accept goats as gifts?
Will those Ghanaian gifts include a goat, sheep, cow?
Mr. Chairman, I know honorable member very well. If he gives me a goat, I will take it.
I'm still waiting for your answers on that question. Charles Ayute is here with Business. Charles, should judges accept goats as gifts this Christmas?
Well, that's a question that Chief Justice nominee would have to answer.
No, he answered. He said if you give him a goat and it's your friend, he will take. What's yours?
Yeah, so I'm going to take it.
No, should they accept gifts as goats as gifts?
So long as it doesn't temper, with the entire judicial process.
You don't have a problem.
I have no problem.
Okay, I'll bring you a gift, a goat.
Exactly.
Well,
coming up in business, International Monetary Fund (IMF) boss Kristalina Georgieva says Africa is a continent of opportunities. We'll hear from her as she explains why investors should look our way at a time Ghana plans to raise $3 billion to support it in the 2020 budget. Also, the haulage and goods trading company shut down over tax default of 1.3 billion cedis. We'll hear from the GRA, which is undertaking a distress action to recover funds owed the state. Business on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN. Welcome to a new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all offices essential. First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your needs. First National Bank, how can we help you?
Joe message is simple. If you say MTN Mumu, it give you life very simple. This trip for the you're 200%. Top up your airtime with your MTN Mumu wallet. A one breakthrough no pie. Enjoy 200% bonus on any amount you recharge with your MTN Mumu. Mitra, 3 times your recharge money. You can't believe it, me boy. Dial *170# to top up your credit and feel the 200% essentially. For what the bra? Then champ calculation the reality no. 72 Ghana cedis we are here 200%. 75 Ghana we are here 200%. 20 Ghana we are here 200%. 200% bonus no. You feel our Ghana's best network. Dial *170#. Now go option 7. Now back home. Now you claim your 200% bonus no. Just Momo it. We there for you everywhere you go. Terms and conditions apply.
As 2019 comes to a close and the festivities set in, we would like to thank you for partnering with us this year. In the world of First National Bank Ghana, your business is our business. And we trust that this last year has seen opportunities unlocked, innovation enabled, and growth gained. May 2020 hold even more for you. We look forward to sharing it with you. And so, a mindful, meaningful, and happy holiday to you. Best wishes, First National Bank, Ghana.
We give you nothing but the best, we stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Books and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Books and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
Start making the simple things simpler. Start using your MasterCard instead of cash. Start buying groceries, shopping online, or at your favorite store, all using your MasterCard. Start enjoying the freedom of a MasterCard in your pocket, knowing the simple things are taken care of with easy, safe, and secure transactions. Ask your bank for your MasterCard. Better than cash.
And you're welcome to Business on Newsnight. Now, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has expressed confidence in some African countries, including Ghana, in attracting the right investors to help bridge the gap in infrastructural deficits. IMF confidence in the Ghanaian economy comes at a time when the country's debt to GDP ratio is projected to reach 63% by the end of 2019. This also follows government preparedness to raise about $3 billion in euro bonds to support the 2020 budget. MD of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, says borrowing for good investment purposes helps generate growth, and of course that in her terms is commendable.
Africa is a continent of opportunity, and what we are focusing on is for this opportunity to be harnessed to the maximum. It is also a continent with many troubles, therefore we also have to be very mindful of risks, especially security risks. Our focus is on supporting these countries to have sound macroeconomic policies, to improve investment climate, and to show it to the rest of the world. And what we are seeing, just to speak with numbers, is that this concentrated effort from their side, from our side, is paying off. On average, growth in the 12 Compact with Africa countries is 7.4% for the last years. This is almost twice as for the rest of the continent, and actually on some points more than twice. And how do they do it? By looking at that sustainability. When they borrow for good investment purpose, things that generate medium long-term growth, and by eliminating red tape for investors, both domestic investors, but of course foreign investors as well.
Managing Director of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva. Haulage and General Goods Transportation Company, Hippo Transport, at the Tema Heavy Industrial Area has been closed by the Ghana Revenue Authority for non-payment of taxes. The company, which owes over 1.3 billion cedis, has failed to honor its tax obligations in almost 2 years. During a distress action today, a senior principal revenue officer, the GRA, Magnus Ajimfrabwatin, said the Debt Management and Compliance Enforcement Unit is poised to retrieve outstanding debts owed the GRA.
We are going to continue our efforts. We'll go after them. It's either late than never, so we'll continue putting much effort. Normally, we don't want to get to this level. We ask them that they should come to our office, make the necessary arrangement, because we don't want companies, these things affect them, their cash flow. So normally, we don't want to get to this last result. So we ask them they should make the effort, come to our office, arrange satisfactory payment. We are for it.
Senior Principal Revenue Officer of the GRA, Magnus Ajimfra Boateng. Now, Ghana's dream of having deprived communities get access to internet services so as to create smart communities is set to be a reality from January 2020. This is because ICT firm Celtel Networks Limited today signed an MOU with ED & Co Capital Partners, an advisory and fund management company with the sole responsibility to act as the transactional advisor for the $500 million fund earmarked for the project. Speaking to the media, founder and chairman of Celtel Networks Limited, Dr. Prince Kofi Klugerson said the project will include and involve building a network that will allow Ghanaians access affordable internet data.
The 1st January, we're going to be able to open up for most companies, franchisees in every district to apply those who want to be partners for every district. Because one of the things we are doing is that the first 1 million people, most of us that come from various villages and communities, like my village, for instance, we're going to identify almost about 200 to 300 teachers who are ready already. So wherever you are, by the time we finish, we are going to meet a lot of the ISP, operators, which we are meeting a lot of them already, who are all over the country. So we're going to partner with all of them so that we can kickstart, and we've designed so far about 20. Tema is one, Kumasi is one, Ablekuma, Kaswa, all those areas have already been designed to be able to kickstart. And once you got the protocol, engaging Mr. Communication, all the regulatory body, what needed to be done, once those things are sorted out, we'll roll. But the most important we've done so far is got all the consortium partners ready, financing ready, all the issues who are the bottlenecks, which we'll be able to, block, have already been done.
And that's the founder and chairman of Celtel Networks, Dr. Prince Kofi Klugerson, ending business on Newsnight Evans.
Right. Charles, before you go, I have a message for you about the goats. It says, good evening, Evans. About the goats and the judge's acceptance or not, I see nothing wrong with it. You did mention gifts, and anyone can give you a gift for any reason and simply due to benevolence. And exactly. That is Coco Ben. In Appeal Ben. So you are aligned with that position.
Exactly. So long as it doesn't have an impact on specific.
You guys. in the Anas expose.
Exactly.
There is a footage of a judge who was giving a goat as a gift. Do you remember?
I did remember
that.
And that particular gift influenced his decision.
Well, that's the narrative around the goats, yes.
Around that situation, of which I have an issue with.
Yes.
But if that particular gift that we're talking about does not influence the judicial process, there's no need for us to even have.
But how do you know if it will influence? If I bring it's their goats and their goats. And we're very fat, juicy, oily goat, that is spicy. The goat is spicy before it's even killed.
I
that
think
can influence.
I think it's also brings.
If I bring you a lean kwashiorkor goat, and then that one,
that's going to be like a red light.
Of course, Charles. Thank you very much.
Right, sure.
So, what's your own view on that question of whether judges should accept goats as gifts this Christmas? Send me your thoughts on it. You've heard the position of the Chief Justice nominee. We'll bring you that story in full on Flip Side later on. But for now, though, the Coalition of Aggrieved Customers on Men's Gold Set is skeptical about the defunct gold dealership firm's payment schedule announced last week to pay backlogged, of course, the funds that have been locked up with the firm for a long time now. Speaking just in the press briefing, chairman of the Aggrieved Customers, Timothy Binab, demanded the Men's Gold withdraws the current payment plan and pay all customers in full before the end of 2019. And of course, you know why. Christmas is around the corner. If I just 2 days away, and people must go about the business of celebrating it. Join News' Henry Kwesibedu has more in the following report.
The aggrieved customers clad in red bands were fired up. Well, their reasons, Men's Gold on December 15 asked leadership of Customers Group to solicit inputs from disgruntled members aimed at working on modalities to pay back its investors. This was followed last week by a payment schedule and formula to pay customers from December 27 within a period of 3 years. The group describes the plan as bleak.
NAM1's modern payment plan that came out is a fallacy to us. It's untrue. We don't trust it. That payment plan has no timelines. If he says he's going to pay on 27th, when is he ending it? And when is he paying the rest of the customers? It is very bad. It is wickedness. It is heartless.
Tell Nana Apia that the payment plan that he brought out is just a sham.
They, however, want a transparent payment roadmap drawn and demand all customers are paid by end of year.
Men's Gold should meet customers' leadership and disclose the total number of validated customers and the cash at hand and pay all customers on 27th December. Men's Gold should reach an agreement with leadership and pay the cash at hand to every customer who went through the validation so that every customer will receive a part of their principal investment before Christmas 2019.
We are not accepting the 3 years. You should review the payment plan. Every customer is a customer. If number one is paying, you should pay everyone at the first chance of the payment 27. That is what we expect from. For any reason, we'll make sure that we go after him for our money. We are petitioning him today as well, and we want him to go by the petition. He should review his payment plan, make sure that all customers are captured, and payment starts on the 27th, as he said. We want all customers paid. We want to know that a third party. We want all customers paid across board.
Other aggrieved customers spoke to Johnny's, registering their displeasure.
He knows after validation, customers are anxious to hear from him. So he will just bring something out to appease customers. But this is not what we wanted. And this is not the promise and the agreement we had with him on the 10th of September. He told us that after validation, he will meet leadership and then sit down with us, take our input, and factor all those things into the payment plan and the models of payment. All of a sudden, you didn't contact us. We wrote to you on several occasions. I sent a letter to Namuan's office on twice occasions. You didn't reply the letter, and then you just came out to say you are paying. You after validation, we don't know the number of customers validated. We don't know the amount at hand. And then you say, I'm going to pay those who invested in September and those who have not received dividends before.
He said he has some cash at hand. That cash at hand, he should just disclose it. You have done validation. Now you know the numbers. So just disclose the cash at hand. Assuming the cash at hand is 2 million Ghana cedis. You have done validation. Assuming you have 60,000 customers. Divide the 2 million Ghana cedis by the 60,000 and pay to everybody.
So we had aggrieved customers there of Men's Gold. Let's speak to Public Relations Officer of Men's Gold, Niyama Matthew, joins us on the telephone line right now. Niyama, please turn on the volume on your radio set for me. Put it off if you may, and just listen to me here. Is it okay, sir?
Yes, okay, sir.
What's your reaction to the work to the customers?
Well, Evans, thank you very much, and good evening to your listeners and to all Men's Gold customers. First of all, I just want to set the preamble for this very interview so that everybody will understand where I'm coming from. You know, when we're operating as Men's Gold, every customer walks into Men's Gold office and transacts business as individual. Nobody came in as a group. Everybody came in, and then we entered into a contract with every customer individually, and we executed the contract individually. That's what it is. Now, when a company goes into disruption, I mean, this what has happened to Men's Gold. I mean, it's accepted that the customers form various groups, which we have acknowledged and recognized that as such. Okay? So, in that regard, we have various customers group. For where I sit as the PR for the company, I've dealt with over, let me say, 8 to 10 customer groups. Recently, they put it down to almost like, I think, 6 or 7 or so. Okay, so CASM is just one group of the 7 groups of customers that we have. Now, from the statement, the conference that they had, I haven't gotten a copy of it yet, but I've listened snippet of it. I mean, what they are trying to say is that they are rejecting the payment schedule that we put across, isn't it? Right?
Yes.
Because we never sought their input, or we never consulted them before we came out with the final payment schedule. That's their case, isn't it? Right?
Partly, yes.
Okay, good. Now, before we came out with the final payment plan, the 18th of December, on the 15th, in fact, as part of our schedules that we put together to follow, that will now culminate into the payment plan that will come on the 18th of December. We met with the leadership of this customers group on the 10th of September, and then we showed them the schedule that we want to follow. Now, at a certain date, I think on the 10th of October, we told them that we'll be doing broad consultation whereby we will seek views and concerns and suggestions, which will lead into us preparing the final payment schedule. That's what we told them. But you all know that we have a lot of issues as I speak now. We don't have any office where we operate from. In fact, we are not operating as we speak because the matter is in court. So there are a lot of things that we are doing beyond our capabilities. But we are trying because we've made commitment to our customers that come what may, December, we will make some payment to them. So when we started with the validation, that ended on 28th of November, we have limited time where we have to announce the final payment schedule. So as part of our broad consultation, we sent a notice to all the customers and asked them to send us an email on what they think or their suggestions and concerns that we can factor into the preparation of our final payment schedule. And Timothy, the leader of CASEM, I personally called him and I spoke to him and I told him that please, if you want one-on-one consultation, it can't be possible because we are meeting a whole lot of people. But we are giving you that opportunity because when we meet you one-on-one, what you will tell us, we are asking you to put the same thing on paper.
Just because of time, they say that they want the payments done at least in part to everybody.
Great.
Before the year ends. Before the year ends, can you?
Why didn't they put that thing on paper and send it to us before we came up with the final payment plan?
Can you meet that deadline they've put before you today?
Evans, the horses have already bolted. It's too late in coming. The suggestions that they have given us today is too late. We've come up with the payment plan already.
So are you going to follow your originally published schedule?
Oh yes, that's what we are going to do.
Okay, I'm grateful that you joined me. That is the spokesperson for Men's Gold, Ms. Amata Few there. Thank you very much for joining me. Let's do sports time. Benedict is here with the latest. Hello, Benedict.
Hi, Evans. Now, Sports Minister Isaac Isiama insists the love for football is coming back ahead of the start of the new Ghana Premier League season. Now, we are just 4 days to the start of the new season, and for Isiama, he's thrilled football is finally coming back.
It is clear, it's obvious that the love for our game is indeed coming back. It is very clear, obvious, that football is born again in Ghana. It is obvious. So we all need to support Mr. President and his capable ESCO members. Very fine brains that we have for football today. I can assure you of the full support of the Ministry of Youth and Sports, of our full support. So let us all work together.
So that's Sports Minister Isaac Isiama. Now, the English government says it will not rule out taking further steps if football authorities fail to deal with racism. Now, play was stopped during Chelsea's win at Tottenham on Sunday after Antonio Rudiger said he heard monkey noises. Now, the Professional Footballers Association has called for a government inquiry following the alleged abuse. And we'll still stay with that game which was played yesterday that Chelsea won by 2 goals. Then Tottenham have appealed against the red card shown to Son Heung-min in the loss to Chelsea, as I mentioned, and that's according to manager Jose Mourinho. Now, the South Korean was sent off in the second half of the 2-0 defeat after VAR ruled he had kicked out Chelsea defender, that's Antonio Rudiger. Spurs are waiting to find out if Son will be available for their Boxing Day game with Brighton. That's the sports events.
And thank you, Benedict. In the last 1 hour or so, the former president, John Dramani Mahama, has been holding a live social media session interacting with the supporters and Ghanaians generally and a few civil society groups and journalists. My colleague Arba Kumsing is there for us and joins us on the telephone line right now. Arba, I'm seeing that he's talking about a raft of things, including challenging the government's assertion that they've employed 50,000 nurses. He says it's a fallacy. He also says that he will not scrap the allowances to teachers and nurses. What else has he been saying?
Well, Evans, if you recall, yesterday at the MPP's rally, the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, indicated that if the NDC is allowed to come back into power, they will scrap or cancel the free SHS policy. Mr. Mahama has been responding to that. He says that is not true. He will not cancel the free SHS. And he sought to explain what he meant by review. And he says by review, all he is saying is that he will implement it properly. He will implement it properly. And he will start by completing the school projects that his administration started to fix the problem of congestion. He's also been talking about, artificial barriers, the legal education controversy, and he says that there shouldn't be any artificial barriers to people trying to attain legal education, and that when his government is in power in 2020, if elected, he will seek to address that. And he's been speaking about a wide range of issues, Evans. I'm sure that we'll have more time to discuss it.
I'm grateful, Araba Kumsing, at that engagement with the former president, who is today engaging his supporters on a host of issues. More in our subsequent bulletins. Well, listen to this. Well, that's a popular tune of Professor Ken Kafui Medekwe Namau, the renowned composer and music lecturer at the University of Ghana, has been telling us a story surrounding the composition of this piece. He, however, believes the removal of music from school curriculum has affected the growth of choral music in the country. Here's an excerpt of our latest Hotline documentary, Hymns and Harmonies, produced by Ernest Menu.
Arguably, his most popular composition, Midakpe Namau, was first performed at the Achimota School, where he was a music teacher.
Achimota follows King Soleji's procedure. Nothing is announced. You only look at your program, you know the next piece, the conductor, the composer's name is also there. So in 1989, I started composing for the first one. That's when I composed Midakpe. And when I composed the music and I was teaching the choir, they said, the language is too difficult. No, Mr. Kafui. So if I asked them to come for it, some of them were not coming. But 6 people learned the song. And when the others heard it, they all rushed. Mr. Kafui, please, the song is so beautiful. We all learn it. They learned it. Then they said, Mr. Kafui, are we going to perform this for the festival? I said, no, because of what you did. Oh, my students were very sad. They all came to apologize. So we sang Midakpe for the first time in Achimota School. The following year, I composed Kafui.
Well, it won't be bad at all to jam to some choral music this festive occasion. Well, find it on YouTube if you may, and just boogie to that particular sound. And earlier on News Now, they asked you, is it okay for judges to accept goats as gifts this Christmas? Well, the CJ nominee was interrogated on this, and his response was exactly this.
Can be more than about, say, 500 Ghana cedis. Please, let's face realities. We are Ghanaians. Would that amount to maybe influencing me so that when you have a case there, I will certainly bend the rules? No, please, we are Ghanaians first.
Will those Ghanaian gifts include a goat, sheep, cow? Acceptable or unacceptable?
Mr. Chairman, I know honorable member very well. If he gives me a goat, I will take it. Oh yes, I know honorable member Inusaf Husseini very well. If he gives me a goat, I will take it because he's my friend. That will be the gift in the cultural sense.
I wonder what your position is on this, but can you even celebrate Christmas without the gifts of goats? Think about that. Well, that's it for News Night tonight. My name is Evans Mensah. Up next is That's My Opinion 2020 If. You're wondering what that is? That's the topic. That answer is up next on your radio.
Oh, Charlie, but why you vex like that? Charlie, I vex rough. I bought a car with insurance from my friend Jay. You know he's relocating abroad, right? Some ugly church was scratched my brand new second-hand car so bad. And you won't believe my insurance say I don't have insurance, so they won't pay. They lie back.
But hold on, bro. Why? You don't know say insurance no be transferable?
Oh, how? You must be kidding, right?
I am very serious. Motor insurance no be transferable. Insurance companies pay claims when it be genuine. You won't believe this, but on a daily basis, insurance companies pay an average of 1.6 million Ghana cedis claims on motor insurance alone, plus all other insurance claims paid too. Now multiply that by 365 days.
Oh, Charlie, give me a second. Let me receive this phone call. Yeah, hello.
If anyone has any reason why this couple cannot be married, speak now or forever hold your peace.
This Tuesday only, it's 5 for 25 at KFC.
Stop it.
That's 5 pieces of chicken for only 25 cedi.
Stop it, I like it.
You can't stop a great deal. Get 5 for 25 cedi this Tuesday only. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Chapeau, I think combo to you. Wait for Joy 99.7 FM.
Joy 99.7 FM.